All yours. Antonio? Antonio, are you there?
Let me share. Yes. So you can see my presentation?
Yes.
Okay. So notes. Okay. Thank you for everybody to be here during next hour. So we are going to speak about the reasons why clubs closing due to lack of motivation. So first of all, I'm going to speak my selfie for everybody to see who are in this side to talk about something that is not so common to speak on Toastmasters side. So give me 1 second. I have some issue. So I remember since February 2014, from my first club was in since September 2016, I was a founder of my actual club, Setúbal Toastmasters Club. So I'm DTM since 2019. 2 times I was area director, D2, 1 time division director, 3 times president. Founder,
Okay.
2 times club co-founder, 2 times club recovery. So clubs with
Antonio? Mamma mia. It was not just me, right? That was having struggling to hear him. I don't know where he...
Is everything all right?
I don't think so. Let me call him. Give me a
I
sec.
don't think so, too.
Okay.
Oh,
Here. Antonio.
yeah, I'm here.
Okay.
I have here a problem of internet. Sorry.
Okay.
I'm going to begin. Give me 1 second. I'm going to give me 1 second. I'm going to share. You can see now?
Yeah.
You can see?
Okay, I can see all black. Everything is black. Now yes, be the spark.
Okay. So thanks. I'm going to repeat again. Thanks for everybody to be here. We are going to speak on next hour about the reasons how clubs are closing due to lack of motivation. Before, some people from here don't know about myself. So it's my selfie. So my name is António Mendes. I am a Toastmaster since February 2014. I'm beginning Almada Toastmasters Club since 2000 club, and I was dual member. DTM since 2019, 2 times area director D2, 1 time division director, 3 times president. I was all officers functions, basically 3 times VP, VPPR, and VPM. I was member of several mentor of several members, club coach and club sponsor, 1 time club founder, 2 times club co-founder, 2 times club recovery, several workshops in clubs in area, division, and district. I spent 45 years working in the IT business, co-founder of 2 software houses, 1 startup, helped a German software house to come in Portugal, and the Spanish cloud startup. I beginning as a developer, consultant, pre-sales, sales manager, country manager, general manager, entrepreneur, investor, and today I'm a cloud advisor in my company, Clarinet. I was made in Germany. I'm a product of Portugal. I'm a risk taker, very objective in what I do, and I like to do the things out of the box. So, beginning the last workshop done by Vera Cunha, she talked about the 3 wise sparks, about creativity, consistency, and connections. So, how to have good clubs, how to have a good quality environment, how to have to convert guests in members, how to do the things on the best way, and how to grow, how to give the visibility to the clubs on the social networks. So this is the good part of to be in a club, to build a club, and this is what Toastmasters International wants, that the organization grow in terms of members and grow in terms of clubs. But why clubs close of the lack of motivation? I saw, maybe you don't know, I'm the data man from the district, and I saw that from 1st of July this year until 15th of October, so after the September renewals, decreased 22% of members. And some clubs are closed, and some clubs are almost to close. So the egos of some members, when some clubs, a member now is the president of the club. We have members who now following Toastmaster rules. We have some members who want to imposing new rules. And some clubs have a kind of dictator leadership. And other situations also like a lack of leadership. So we are in Toastmasters to learn, to have more self-confidence. We want to have fun. We want to be creative, put our imagination in all of the things we do on the clubs, to help the clubs and the organization. But I am here, or we are here, to don't get upset, because we are in pro bono. We don't receive any money. So but we have these situations with problems in some clubs. And when these situations happen, we have boom. And so let's speak about this boom. So we have conflict management. We have learn how to spark positive change. We have discovered how to turn the tide and deal effectively with challenging personalities. So this is the four main pillars that I'm going to speak not on detail, but in a general overview about in terms of the stories that I'm going to tell you. Now we have a quiz, and I ask to Scarlett to put the quiz for everybody to answer, please.
Yes. Okay. Okay, now you should be able to see on your screens 4 questions. If anyone cannot see them, just let me know. But you can start selecting yes or no for this.
The quiz is anonymous, so don't be afraid to answer that. Okay.
Okay, 3 people already voted. 4 out of 21. Okay. 6. Okay, 10 out of 21. Okay, keep coming, keep coming. 12, 13, 14 out of 21. Okay. Anyone else? 15. Okay, I think 16. Okay, this is slowing down, so I think we are ready to close this quiz. We're still in 16. Okay.
Almost.
18. Come
almost.
on. 21 people. 18. We have 18, please.
Okay, so you can close.
Nice,
So,
nice. Okay.
On the first question, have you heard about any problems with members or officers on your club? So half said yes and half said no. So this means that this half who said yes, you are on the right place to learn something. Have you heard or a club having problems with members or officers? So this is a bad situation. You know that the club has problems, but maybe you don't tell nobody. Do you know how to resolve? Yes, some yes, and the majority have no. So this is the right place to understand a little how I can help. And have you ever reported these problems to the area, district, and division? Of course, some yes and some no. So for you to have understanding, I call in my way to see the things is that this is a taboo matter. So everybody speak on the last years about growing, how to grow, how to have a good sessions, good quality, but nobody speaks when we have these problems. Only a few people. So
Okay, I think we have lost. Okay, I think we lost you.
I am here.
Now, yes.
Okay, maybe I have some problems with the connectivity. Well, so on the next minutes, I'm going to speak about my bed explosions experience. Okay, in 2015, I was VPPR in Almada Toastmasters Club, and by your curiosity, in that year, Almada received an award from Toastmasters International with the club in Europe who give more visibility about Toastmasters. And once in the Portuguese TV, in one of TV channels, we saw the actual president of Portugal at that time. He was a commentator in that special TV channel, was TVI, and he told that Almada Toastmasters Club is going to make a special session for the Humans Day, and we was very surprised to see that new on the Portuguese TV. So, and we do lots of visibility. So we have many guests on the sessions. But after a couple of weeks, we saw why we didn't have convert guests to members. So each session at the end, when we saw our VPPM making the approach to the guests, so we find that the reason why we have a lack of conversion between guests and to members. Why? Because the way she speaks to the guests, she's very, with all of the respect, she's a very fat person. She have the American way to make business, and the way she approach to the guests gives to him to the guest a non-confidence way to enter on the club. So like you must be a member, you must be a Toastmaster, you must appear here. So like selling as an order, okay? So we make an internal meeting with all of the officers, and we decide to speak to her and to explain what are the situation, and we explain to her that, please, let's go to make a test, and someone, not you, but another member, make that kind of approach. You will be the VPM, but this member make this kind of sales approach to the guests and to convert to member. And this was successful. So we take this decision, and she was a saleswoman. So was not so easy to speak with her, telling that situation. But the truth is that was a very hard officer's decision, but the club change and have more the ratio between guests to members grow. So second experience, and this was the hardest I have done until today, including in my professional life. In 2018, at that time, I was area director and not member of Stuart Toastmasters Club, but I was as a area director. And one normal session, suddenly a member go to the stage in the middle of a feedback moment, when we fulfill the feedback sheets, evaluation sheets. He appeared on the stage and said, next month, I will be the president of this club. Just that. And I, by coincidence, in my left side was the president. And I asked to him, this is normal? This we are in January. The election moment will be in May. And he told me, Antonio, if he wants to be the president, I don't care. I'm here to learn, to teach, to share. I don't want to have problems. If he wants to be the president, let's be the president. When I saw the attitude of this person, like a dictator, and said, next month I will be the president, so automatically my ship, because we cannot accept this kind of situation. This is a bad example of we teach in Toastmasters leadership. So I speak to the president, and what's happened? The next sessions, the attitude of this guy beginnings to decrease the number of members on the sessions. So sometimes you have sections with 5, 6, 7 members. I speak at that time with Nelson Emilio, was District 107 director, and what we can do. And during, this is January, February, March, April, every week we have amazing situations. Like, as you know, the president cannot be the treasury. The account was in name of the president. He takes money from the club. He have a bad way to approach to the members. You can imagine making a speech and at the same time the printer making noise to print agenda or to print the evaluation sheet. If you said to him, this is not okay, this is not the good way, we need to change. The agenda is done 5 minutes before beginning the session when everybody is there. So a prepared speech is almost improved speech. So it's necessary members to make the agenda 5 minutes, 10 minutes before the session beginnings. You can imagine like a very aggressive methods and words when someone said to him that this is not a good way to make feedbacks. For example, once he forbidden his wife 6 months to don't go anymore to the club because she do the sandwich, the typical sandwich feedback, Toastmasters feedback to him, and he didn't like that the way it was. So it creates many problems, and including once when we have the elections, he decides who will be the next president. Who he decides. The meetings was the elections moment was on the 25th of April when is holiday in Portugal, and 1 of May when is the worker day also as holiday. So it creates an environment that nobody wants to be there. So at the end, with the support of with the division director Gonçalo at that time, so we need to make a new the president was suggested by him said I don't want to be a president, so I was I renewed my membership in Setúbal to be a member. At that time, the club just have 8 members. So we go to voting again in June. And by coincidence, I was not nominated to be a president. At the weeks after that, each session meeting have just 5 minutes because the objectives of each session is not on this way. He wants to be. He closed the desktop and the session is finished. So we need to decide another venue for the club to begin again. But during this time, okay, everybody said we need to kick off this guy, to expose this guy from the club. How to do that? Because it's not myself. I don't like Scarlett. Scarlett, go out from the club from Barcelona. It's not a question of myself. It's a decision by the members. So Nelson and Emilio have supported me a lot. We spent many hours, including with the support of Toastmasters International. I'm going to show where are the information, how we can do that. So I find 65 proofs with photos, messages. Everything was changed. Testimonials from other members. So I describe all of this information in a mail to him, okay? After he needs to have a couple of days to answer. After regarding the answer, the members decide to vote if we are agreed to expose him from the club or not. So this needs that the club needs to have a quorum of 50% plus 1, and to voting yes or no 50% plus 1. So that rules exist, and supporting this information that we receive from Toastmasters International, we decide show him and give you all of the information, the timing he needs spent to answer to us. At the end, we decide to expose this guy from the Setúbal Toastmasters Club. Meanwhile, he creates, maybe you don't know, but exists an organization similar as Toastmaster named Agora. He creates a club, Agora, in Setúbal. A couple of months later, that club stops, and in September 2019, so 1 year later, he decides to create a Toastmasters club. And why? Because he appears in several clubs to be member of that clubs, and because the most of all of the clubs in Lisboa area, in Setúbal area, knows what's happened with this guy, so everybody closed the door. So he didn't enter in any club. So because of that, he decided, if no club accept me as a member, so I'm going to create a club. And as you know, to create a Toastmasters club, you need 20 members. So what you have to do, you have 10 members, and use the data of 10 ex-members from Setúbal Toastmasters Club. He used that data to create a club. And this, at that time, was a big problem for the district to decide if we are going to accept or not, because, as you know, according to the GDPR, you cannot use data from people to create something for you. So we have decided to don't make noise. I speak directly with the people from Setúbal Toastmasters Club at that time, that they didn't realize that they used their data to open another club. So the club was reusado, and today is not a club anymore. But meanwhile, he makes some damage to ex-members, make some damage, including for our actual club, Setúbal Toastmasters Club, because when someone wants to see how many clubs are in my area, and they saw Reusado and Setúbal Toastmasters Club, and so you can imagine sometimes we have received members in Setúbal Toastmasters Club because they want to contact Reusado, and was a very bad information, very bad feedback. So that guy creates many problems. So, and was a good decision at that time, and now we have the results of that the Setúbal Toastmasters Club have today. Because of that, and this is the ending of 2018, and by your curiosity, at that time was just 3 members. 3 members. It was myself, Ana Anjos, and Cidália. We decided in September 2018 what we are going to do, to close the club, or we reopen the club again. So we decided to stop August, think a little, and in September we beginning just 3 members, and we received some help from other clubs, from Almada, from Vasco da Gama, in particular these clubs. So, and we rebuild the club again. So this is also a good experience for weak clubs can understand how other clubs can help these weak clubs. So, and now today is today with the Setúbal Toastmasters Club. So because of that, 2019, 2020, sometimes I receive some clubs. Hey, António, can you help me? I'm representing the officers, and we all officers, we don't like our president. What you can advise to us? Or a president asked me, hey, António, I have a problem with the VPPR. What you can suggest me? So, and always, this was a one-to-one situation. So I give to them the recommendations. And in general point of view, this is what I'm going to tell you today. So we have this situation. Other was in 2022, I was invited to, in a certain way, rebuild the Almada Club. At that time, they have 20 members. Was lots of people in out, wasn't a good stability. And so Barros at that time asked me to help Almada. I know the club very well. So again, I was finished that year as a division director. So I accept that invitation to be president of the, of course, there was an election. And so I spent that year on Almada. What's happened? In March 2022, I find that some ex-members don't go to Almada because a certain member today, at that time, was as an officer. Some members didn't make the renewal because of that person. And some members said, maybe I'm going out of the club because of that person. So what I decide myself, I have heard all of the histories, why each member, each ex-member, they have their own history, why. And suddenly I saw that I have a toxic member. Because how I can put the club with a good quality session, how I'm going to put the club grow in terms of convert guests to members, and how to bring ex-members to the club. Because this was an important challenge to bring again ex-members. And so I speak directly with that person. I told I know all of the stories by each one, ex-members, actual members, future ex-members, and I told to her, I have the reasons. She didn't make any things against all of the situations. So I told her, also in my unformatted way, to speak with the people in certain moments, that you must do as the British politics. You send a message in our group, officers group and members group, that by private reasons, personal reasons, health reasons, we stop to have this function. So she stopped to be a VPPR. At that time, I assumed that function. And what I have done at that moment, what's happened? Suddenly, the members who wants to don't make the renewal stays on the club. I pick up some ex-members, enter on the club. So, and we're beginning to have a new kind of environment. So, and when these things happen, we have a very interesting, positive environment to grow and give the quality, because a toxic person, a toxic member, is not anymore on the club. Maybe the majority of you don't know, but this is on the leadership manual that normally each year everybody who is an officer receives this manual. On VPM is write this sentence: be sure that the new membership are voted by the majority of club members. This is right on the Toastmasters International rules, that when we have a guest who wants to be a member, this is a club decision if we want to have these guests to be member or not. If I ask you, who here in your clubs you do that, maybe nobody. So we have the right to make the admission of each guest in our club. So, and why I'm telling you this? Just for your information, but also because I know that exists a club in Lisbon area that they have a guest who are making lots of troubles on the club. And nobody knows how to resolve that. Now you can imagine, if you have this, and if you can show to this guest that because we cannot by as a detector go out. We are not we don't like to have you here. But if you show these arguments, because the majority of the guests don't know about the Toastmaster International rules that we have in terms of ethical, in terms of how to be in a good presence, on the club and between people. So this is one of the points that you can use, and as a VPM or the president must know this argument when we have problems with a new guest who wants to be a member. I'm not going to speak, okay, in terms of I'm going to tell you where is the information, okay. If you go to the Toastmasters page, I'm going to show you later, and ask on the search bar, if you put protocol 3.0 ethics and conduct, you can see all of the reasons why we are able to make whatever to when we have a toxic member, how to do something. Okay. Of course, in terms of leadership, the best way is to speak with the person. Okay. Maybe the president, it's more, or the Toastmaster with more relevance on the club, or maybe with another member. It's a question to have a meeting face-to-face to him and explain the situation and tell why you as a member or a guest are creating these bad environments on the club. And this is what we learn in Toastmasters leadership, is to speak. Each one of us have their own capacity to lead with people. We know that's very difficult, and this is the biggest challenge, in my opinion, as a leader, is the egos management. Because some members, because now I'm a president, because of the personality because in his professional life, maybe he's a director, or maybe he's a frustrated person, and suddenly you have a group of people where this is my house, this is where I'm going to put my ideas and oblige everybody to follow what I think, and this is a challenge, to speak with the people. Again, we don't receive any salary from Toastmasters International. We want the clubs to have a good culture, a good environment, to be fun, and so on. But it's very important to speak with that person. Even sometimes we speak once, 2 times, 3 times, 4 times. And our patience sometimes needs to have an ending. And the ending must be before we see that we have members quit from the club. And this is the thing that we don't want. And the unmotivation of the people is to have people not happy on the club. This is very, very worst, because at the end, we responsible as an officer or the president, IPP, I'm today IPP, or VPR, VPPM, or all of the officers, and also some members. Sometimes they are so sad to be in a club that they spend 1 year, 3 years, 5 years on club, and suddenly someone is create a bad environment. And how I am on the club, I'm going to bring with me some friends, some potential guests, maybe potential member to my club where the environment is so bad. And what I can do. Yeah. So this is the responsibility of the officers and the responsibility of the president. Now, if the president is the toxic member, this is another issue. But again, the officers can use some that normally from members are here today and assist to the international meetings like DCM or on the district conference when we have voting process. Depending of a democracy book from 1870 something that some American general create the Robert Rules of Law. So if during a meeting, someone from the audience said, I want to vote, voting to do some action against our president or our VPPR or this member. Someone said, wants to second one for this motion. If exists another second member telling that I am agree, so suddenly the session stop, or someone take the notes. This is some issue that we take in our next meeting, or we voting today. If the club have the quorum at least 50% plus one, so club have 20 members, and on the session exists 11, so 50% plus one, the club have conditions for voting. And this is right on all of this information in protocol 3.0 and ethics. So on the section 4, we have the termination and suspension that a voting process. So all of the clubs have this tool to decide to stop toxic members on the club. So of course, my suggestion is, if your clubs you have some issues like that, the ideal is to speak with someone which on the past have already this kind of experience, or speak at the same time with area director or directly to division director, or if you know directly Norberto Amaral is the district director, so the advice is to ask for opinion, what we can do, okay? Because again, each one of us, we have our own process, on our own way to lead with this kind of toxic members. So before to do anything, ask to someone, because we need to do that. If you don't do that, again, remember for what Vera Cunha told weeks before regarding the growing clubs. This is a focus of the Toastmasters International. Give this direction to the district to division to areas to the club. We need to create conditions for club growing. But if a particular club have this kind of toxic members, what are we going to do? And it's necessary to do. Don't keep quiet. Don't give this in your shoulders, this kind of backpack of problems in the club, because this is destroy our motivation, destroy the way we dedicate to our club, and because of one member, and we lose of the culture of many years. And we saw that if someone can put your hands on the top just to tell me by a figure, if you have already saw that. So even if you don't saw that, or if you have heard about that, this cannot be happen. This is a waste of time. Our efforts we have done to create a club, to grow a club, and again, because of one person, and can destroy a club. So this is a leadership attitude that we need to have in our clubs. So after the resolution, many sparks, because even the motto of the district is to be a spark, so a lightning spark to put everything beautiful, but a spark can explode a big bomb. So, But after that, with this kind of sparks, what we have? First of all, first thing, please calling ex-members, because you have already the diploma resolved. So calling that, you have a new relief, a new air, a new atmosphere. You have a new happiness, because suddenly this ill disappear. You must enjoy the sessions, reorganize yourselves, reorganize the club, because if you saw something is not correct and create lots of problems, so you are in a moment to reorganize. Depending if that toxic member was an officer or was the president or was a normal member. So reorganize and share and advise the other clubs. Because if that person change a club to other club and you know that that person is toxic, so it's our ethical to be fair to other clubs, to telling that you have this kind of person in your club. And if that person destroy my club or almost destroy my club, maybe sometimes, and I always believe and that the people can learn with their own mistakes or supposed mistakes, because sometimes this kind of people don't accept the mistakes, but always must give the chance to think in a different way. So I'm going to tell you. Let me prepare. Let me prepare. I'm going to stop this sharing. And I'm going to show you. So this is on the, you can see. So this is the.
No, we are not seeing anything.
No?
Just you. We are seeing you. You are not sharing your screen.
Okay. So you can see the. Excuse me. Excuse me. You can see?
Yes.
The protocol. The Toastmaster page?
Yes.
So here you can see on the Toastmaster International all of the rules of Toastmaster International, and you can see where is that information, and you can see all of the information who helps you how to do the things, resolutions, how to do, when to answer. This is including these rules are also for Toastmaster International. Okay. So you have here, by curiosity, let me more here. This is the book of Robert Rules of Law, where the all of the district meetings exists someone who organize all of the voting process, and when are people against or not, with reports and results, and including election moments. So this is the book that help a lot to understand these voting methods. So, and now I have here some time for questions, for you want to ask me or to share.
I have a question.
Yeah.
Forgot to put my hand. Who of the officers must be the person that to begin to work with a member that is a conflict member? Who must be the officer that must speak to that member?
Well, don't exist any kind of rule of that. In my opinion, it's the same way in a professional life. Or I have someone who are going to complain to me and ask me some help, or myself, I saw and I need to speak with the president. I think we don't have here the human resources department, can be maybe the VPM, but it's a question of the sensibility between that member. We have some problems with that potential toxic member, to someone with the confidence, because we need to escalate it, and to be escalated must be at the end at the president, and after the president, the officers must have a meeting to speak about this issue and how to deal with this situation. One thing is a conflict between member to member, and other thing it's an officer to members and between officers. And the majority of the times is officers. I saw once in a club a member which was a lawyer. Was not so easy to speak with him. At the end, he decided himself to quit from the club. Normal way. If the person is not happy, he quits. But when existed the conflicts and the members still on the club and they want to still on the club, so it's a question the member to escalate to the officers, and the officers have a meeting and decide how to do that. And how to do that is to using these rules from Toastmasters International, which support any club, any officer, because we don't have lawyers in our clubs. We don't have money to pay to lawyers. So Toastmasters International have their own rules, so we can use that as an argument, because we are member of a Toastmaster organization, and I don't know how many clubs when we have a new member tell or say in a high voice to the members the promise of Toastmasters, the 10 points to be a Toastmasters. And we have respect, we have the attitude, we have the responsibility, we have the excellence, we have the service. And the ethical is this is why I saw many lines in the Toastmasters rules, Toastmasters International rules, many lines regarding the ethics. And this is today is the most important point in all of the organizations, the ethical. So we must work as a friend, between friends, family, and professional. We must be ethical in everything what we do. When we are not ethical, it's a problem, and the problems appear to be resolved, and we must have the rules to help to resolve that problems. More questions?
Antonio, Ana Pereira, I don't know if she posted a question, a very good question on the chat. Ana Pereira, can you unmute yourself and ask your question out loud? It's a very good question.
Hello, can you hear me?
Yes, Ana.
What kind of communications? What kind of communication and tone strategy would you use to have a direct talk with the toxic member?
Yeah.
Again,
as in a difficult talk.
Yes, it's
Thank you.
You know it's a difficult talk. Okay, you already know. So it's to be not to be toxic with him. So depending of you, but normally is to explain the situations. We have this situation. We have the member A, B, or C. You have this attitude. We know our rules, our principles. How is the best way to handle this with you? Because sometimes members or people are like that, like the horses, okay, without this open, and don't view the other things. It's a question of ego. And if and at the end of that talk, maybe it's me against him, and who is wrong. So if I work, or my position is an ethical point of view is correct because I think so, and I have a not good positive talk with the toxic member. So what I need to do is to speak to the other officers and explain the situation. Maybe we as officers speak again with him, okay, and talk with him what is necessary to do, because his presence is very negative to the club. And if he don't understand well the situation, if he himself don't quit as own decision to quit from the club, so we need to take some measures. And to take measures, they explain to him that we have an internal process, and this decision must be voting from all members. Of course, this is like politics. Like politics. You need to speak with member A, member B, member C, member so on, to have the feelings, to understand. Because at the end, maybe myself, Antonio, I am the wrong guy. I don't understand very well the things. So, and maybe at the end, the members decide to vote against me. Okay, but it's a very important question. Begins a talk one-to-one, because sometimes people are blind. They don't see what is our organization. I know that members don't understand our organization, and this is not a club just to spend the time and to say blah 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 what they want. I know that exist members who make some publicity of their own business, and this is not correct on Toastmasters. So it's important to have this kind of understanding. What are the values of Toastmasters, and sometimes it's very important that this kind of face-to-face talk. More questions?
João, go.
Hello, everybody.
Hello, João.
António. Olá, tudo bem?
Tudo bem.
Thank you for your talk and for volunteering to do this session. I'd like to ask you two questions. One is dependent on the other. First, is there the concept of toxic? Is it universal, or it can vary from club to club, from people to people? And the second one, okay, you can answer this, and then I have a second one.
Okay. I think toxic member is a very universal. This is the only way to say if he's a good member or not a good member, a good person or a bad person. So when someone, because in all of our organizations where you work, we have always someone who create problems. And when we have some employee who create problems, in a general way, we said is a toxic employee who create problems. And I know by experience how to handle a team with more than 20 years, and I have an employee who always create problems. We have new employees enter on the team, a couple of months later quit from the team, and because always with the same problems. So in public organizations, what normally is to do, what they do is to transfer that person to other department. In private companies, is kick off the guy. So money for him and quit from the company. You don't do you anymore. Of course, with some reasons to just justify his behavior. But toxical is just a universal name to tell that is a member who create problems to us.
Okay, and the second, thank you. And the second question is, how can normally there is a pattern on the behavior of those persons. So what I see normally is when something is done, it's already too late, and too much harm has been done already to a club. So what would you suggest to early detect and act on this so as to avoid the problem to become a big problem?
When the problem is already done, well, what is a general approach. You must understand what are the damage, and now to speak who are the victims of that damage, and try to recover what is possible. We are speaking about the clubs, and it's if a club disappeared because of one person, and because that damage was already done, and maybe with many members or many responsibles or some art directors didn't realize that. Well, if art director didn't realize that, maybe he make a bad job, because at the end the art director must know what's happened in each club. So art director is maybe a good detector of bad things on the clubs. Okay, you must understand that. Even sometimes it's not so easy, because the art director is not often on the clubs. So normally someone must say to someone, "Hey, we have here a problem. Let's speak about that." But when the damage is already done, is to understand and to learn, and to see how next time we need to avoid this kind of situation. But when it's done, it's now, for example, in my case, in 2018 with Setúbal, I created the club. So, well, I have the initiative, and I have people behind me, and we decided to create the club. I create an open session at that time, or demo session at that time, with another people. Now, because of one person, this club are going to close. At the end, we are just 3 members. So we decide to ask help and rebuild the club again. So, but when the damage is done, it's just to understand, and next time to avoid that. It's the same when an airplane have a crash. The crash of the airplane, dead or not, many injuries on that accident, but after that exist some results, some reports, and to help the airplane industry to avoid this kind of accidents next time. And this is the kind of learning moment that we need to have when this damage appears. So, but when we have, the most important here is when we know that that a potential a problem. In 2019, when I was art director, we was in a DCM in Paris, and we received information from Toastmasters International that a member from Europe are forbidden to enter in any kind of clubs. Why? Because he wants to join the clubs just to be a president, because of power, and because of that power, he creates many face-to-face problems with the members and harassment. Yeah, and sometimes there exist kind of members with the kind of these behaviors, which are not allowed, of course. So. And why? Because the clubs escalate to up this issue, and these people, if have problems in one club, if nobody escalates, makes problems in the other club, nobody escalate, more problems in another club. So, and these kind of behaviors are not allowed in any. kind of society, in any kind of organization. Again, if we make the effort to have quality and the club growing, new members, these people are against what we pursued in the organization. So,
okay,
more questions?
thank you, António. I don't know if I can.
Yeah, we are here.
Because perhaps I could not make the right question. You have several members, toxic members. So, what, based on your experience, what you do differently to avoid those types of people would come again? Not those, but but other incarnations. So there is the Portuguese quote, "Casa roubada, trancas à porta." So what could you do differently to avoid those people, those kind of people, to harm the club again?
Escalate. If he goes to another club, and if I know people from that club, I tell them the
Oh, Antonio, you have lost you. We lost him. Okay.
to share with other clubs. This is what I feel. If a person after 1 year or 10 years quit from my club, create problems, and go to another club, if I love this organization, if I make my effort, and what I do for this organization is to help the organization, create a good environment, to share the information, and if I can help the organization to avoid a potential problem, why I don't do that? Why I must close my mouth? Maybe I'm a German education. I receive a German education, and I see I'm a very pragmatic person. But it's the same on the families. We all our families, we have always some members of the family that always create problems. And it's important, and because of a discussion between an uncle and a nephew, they spend 20 years without speaking. Why? At the end, we are humans, and you can is a question of to be proud, and I'm not going to recognize my mistake. And this is the challenge of the people today. Yeah? When we have proud to what we have done, and we don't have to accept our mistakes. And when people said to me, "You have doing the right thing," and many people don't accept this kind of situation. This is why on Toastmasters we learn to make a good feedback. Okay, so to avoid problems of the future, I think it's important for the people understand what we accept, and to be have an open eye, to be more. It's not a question to have a very good to be active with our ear, but to be active with our eyes, and to avoid potential problems. It's not so easy. I know that this is not so easy to do that. It's not so easy. But the worst is to be mouth closed.
Yeah.
It's a hard situation to resolve that, but it's necessary to do something. Okay, because maybe some people are not on the right place. The majority of the people here is to learn. Everybody here as a Toastmasters, we have our challenge to practice our way to speak, our butterflies in our stomach. Even a leadership discussion, you have a lot of butterflies in your stomach. And it's not a question, the best way to speak in front of an audience of many, many people. It's the butterflies we have in our stomach to speak with someone with this hard stuff. But we learn. And I maybe in my professional experience in my professional activity, a few times I need to fire people. I need to hire people. I need to make people interviews. Sometimes it's important to change people from one team to other team, because at the end, who pays my salary is the customer. It's not my boss or me as a general manager. It's the customer. So to have happy customers, I need to have happy employees. And to have happy employees, I need to create the tools inside for the people be happy. This is why I give the challenge to, I spoke with Isidro and Sergio Agrementos, that we are trying to have in our club another officer. Is the VPHO, the Vice President Happiness Officer. So if you have someone who are focused on the happiness of the clubs, okay, maybe can be the same officer as are the VPPR, for example, okay. But if we have focus on the happiness of the club, because exist many companies today, they are focused on the happiness of their own employees. Now it's not a question of RH department, is the talent department. So now the company is beginning to see. So again, is to have the people happy, and when we have problems on the club with someone, the people begin to be unhappy. Okay, so it's a question to have this kind of direct approach. Okay, how members are here with more than 10 years on Toastmasters, or 14 years, 20 years. So because maybe you love this a lot. We love to learn, we love to teach, to share, to help the organization, to give our know-how, and to create the conditions to have the people on the sessions to have fun. So this is the challenge that we have with the responsibilities, in principle on the clubs, and this is why on the clubs appear every single of these kind of situations. So delivery, the challenge for the clubs, with some mottos, be fun, be happy, doing the things out of the box, respect with all of the standards of Toastmasters. So this creates a good environment. And for me, the worst is to see a member who wants to impose things that are not from Toastmasters International rules. So because at the end, each club can do everything what they want to do, respect the Toastmasters International fundamentals, and to create environment to have to grow. So when we have this kind of members, creates problem.
Antonio, I have lost you again. Okay, anyone have any other questions for Antonio?
In my club, or when the fundamentals of the Toastmasters International that everybody must respect, and we don't receive any salary to be here a Sunday afternoon or when we have our international meetings and our personal time dedicated to the Toastmasters. So we want that the clubs grow. And when you saw the values, the growing indicators are very bad this year. So 22% of the members didn't make the renewals. It's very hard. Even we know that normally exist many members who don't make the renewals. But anyway, we must fight against this. And this is only happen with a good environment on the clubs. And it's a question to the district level. See what are the case studies. What is this in some clubs happen, and other clubs it's easy. It's very easy to see the data. You see one club, and year per year the members are going down. It's important that someone, maybe the area director, must speak directly with the president. Why? And this data I'm now collecting from since 2018 from the dashboard to collect that data per club. And it's a very good indicators to measure the growing or ungrowing or decreasing the members of the clubs. Because it's not a question to make the management of year per year isolated. Must be year per year, but you must understand the past, the numbers from the past, to have a better approach from the organization. I prefer this one. Thank you. Anyway, if anybody wants to make questions, I am here. Thanks, João. Thanks, Anna. Thanks, Ajita.
Can I raise one question quickly?
Yeah.
Yeah.
First of all, thank you, Antonio, for sharing these insights and experience. The question is more related to new members.
Mm-hmm.
For instance, is there a strategy you follow, or if you have tips when you are enrolling new members to the club?
I think the most important is that the new member must read in front of the members the 10 principles of Toastmasters, okay, to brief, to understand and put in mind what are the principles of Toastmasters, and this is the basics. And second one is the VPM at least must give a mentor to him. Okay, to have a mentor from the 0 day, it's very important. Okay, or at least have a name. Okay, because sometimes depending the size of the club and the new members and the members of the potential mentors, is if they are available, if they have time or not time, because sometimes exist mentors with 2 members, 2 new members, 3 new members. But the most important is that to give a mentor to the new member. Okay, at least during 6 months, this mentor help the new member with how to work with Easy Speak, how to work with the Basecamp, to explain. Because I saw a few clubs that okay, this is your pathway. You decide which pathway you want. Now we have many projects, and nobody explained to the mentor, for example, because each one of us we have our own stories, we have our own know-how, we have our hobbies, we have something to share, but the content of the things to share can be different according if it's a speech with body language, if it's a motivational speak, if it's a special speech, if it's a vocal variety speech. So, and sometimes sometimes we need to understand from the manual what we need to prepare for the speech I want to do on the next couple of months, and the mentor have this kind of help to the new member to help him to organize what kind of content I'm going to deliver on the next challenge or next speech objectives. So it's very important for this issue. And of course, to help him, the first time you are going to be timekeeper or grammarian or general waiter. So now depending the club by club, but for a new member is to have a mentor immediately, as soon as possible.
Thank you.
More questions? If you are here, it's because we have some situations to share or to ask to help. So, if no questions, my suggestion is to, if you know someone, if you want some club, ask. I'm available, but escalate to the area director and how to resolve that situation. And also don't spend more time waiting for the potential changing of the person. So the club must be act immediately as soon as possible to resolve that very uncomfortable situation. And the members of the club don't like to accept this kind of situation, and they begin to unmotivated, and this is very bad for the club. So from my side, you have my contacts, you know how to reach me, so I'm available for everything as usual.